We have to start this video by talking about the biggest winner of the 2024 trade deadline, Furkan Korkmaz. This dude has been pleading with the 76ers to trade him since like 2018. Now 6 years later, he is finally free. I don't know if he'll ever touch the court, but the 76ers have sent Korkmaz, Marcus Morris, and 3 second-round picks to the Indiana Pacers for Buddy Hield. For the 76ers, this is an A+ move. Anytime you can get more shooting around an all-time great center is a win. He's a career 40% shooter from 3, plus he moves super well off ball, and right now the 76ers are 27th in made threes. So that's definitely going to change adding Buddy Hield to the roster. And for the Indiana Pacers, I'd give them a B. Korkmaz and Morris are probably never going to play for the Pacers with all the young talent they have, but Buddy Hield was an expiring contract and didn't quite fit their timeline, so at least you got 3 second-round picks instead of letting him walk for free. Pacers also went on to flip Marcus Morris and a second-round pick for Doug McDermott. I think this move is an A because you get a lesser version of Buddy Hield. He brings just about as good shooting, but it's more of a spot-up shooter than moving off of screens. He's on the last year of his contract too, but he definitely re-signed for much less than Buddy Hield, who's just on a $94 million contract. And if he walks, the Pacers clear up about $13 million in space, but I'm 90% sure he'll re-sign. For the Spurs side of the trade, I think this is about a B. You got off with Doug McDermott, who never played at all really, for a second-round pick. And the Spurs are planning on buying Marcus Morris out. So it's not really an exciting trade. I was really hoping to see them get a real point guard, maybe even do a big trade and try to bring DeJounte Murray back, because that's what Wemby really needs to continue to develop and contend. He needs a real point guard. But you got off a guy who never really played, got a second-round pick in return. Not a terrible trade. The play-in champion Patrick Beverly was also moved at the deadline. The Bucks received Patrick Beverly. In exchange, the 76ers received Cameron Payne and a 2027 second-round pick. For the Bucks, this is definitely an A. The Bucks went from being the best defense in the league last year to falling all the way to 22nd this year. The obvious reason being trading away Jrue Holiday, who was the best perimeter defender in the league. Adding Patrick Beverly to be that point of attack defender helped solve that problem almost immediately. And I love Patrick Beverly's game. He's an energetic defender, he's an agitator, and you need guys like that. You can't keep letting Dame get cooked on the perimeter. So the Bucks get an A for this for sure. For the Sixers, I'd give it a B. Cam is going to add more spacing to his team, but I don't think he's going to be a huge needle mover. But it's definitely far from being a bad trade. He's going to bring a lot of offense to his team. The next trade I'm going to talk about, this is one that really interested me. Royce O'Neal has been moved to the Phoenix Suns. And this one was pretty confusing to me because the Brooklyn Nets and the Lakers were in talks to move Royce O'Neal or Spencer Dinwiddie, but the Nets said they didn't want to hear any trade talk from the Lakers if it wasn't including Austin Reeves or the Lakers' 2029 first-round pick in the deal. But now the Nets have traded Royce O'Neal to the Suns in a 3-team trade where the Nets received Keita Bates-Diop, Jordan Goodwin, and 3 second-round picks, which I feel is a fair trade for Royce O'Neal. He's out of his prime and on an expiring contract. He's still good. He's still a decent role player. So getting someone back like Keita Bates-Diop and 3 second-round picks is a win. I just wonder why they wouldn't take the Lakers' second-round picks, especially considering the Lakers are going to be way worse than the Suns, especially in the next few years. Overall for the Nets, I'll give this trade a B+. Hey, we are only 180 subscribers away from 1,000. So do me a big favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment. I respond to everyone. Now back to the video. As part of the same deal, the Grizzlies received Chimezie Metu, Yuta Watanabe, and a pick swap from the Suns. And these are all awful acquisitions. I just don't understand the point. It seems like they're doing a roster retooling after getting rid of Steven Adams. And I just can't see what direction this team is heading for. I can't see a team who is looking to make another deep playoff run having Chimezie Metu on the floor. Picked up Yuta Watanabe, who's having a down year compared to last season. He's shooting 32% from 3 this season when he was shooting 44% last season and over 50% from corner threes last season. But of course, he is playing much less minutes on that Phoenix Suns team, and he was getting a lot of DNPs. So you can chalk a lot of it up to just being out of rhythm. But he has a player option at the end of this season. and there's going to be a ton of teams calling his agent. He's only making $2 million a year. I don't know how much of an increase he's going to get, but he's already at the floor. So I think there's going to be a ton of interest in him, and there's no guarantee that he'll be in Memphis for more than just these next few months. So for this trade, this is definitely an F. In this 3-team trade, the Suns by far came out on top, moving a guy who was a DNP and second round picks for Royce O'Neal. A lot of the mock trades for the Suns showed them having to give up either Grayson Allen or Nasir Little, but they're able to keep both of them. And Royce O'Neal will bring some improved defense and can make a decent amount of threes. He's shooting about 37% this season. So the Suns get an A. The Charlotte Hornets have also been active at the trade deadline. They made a move sending PJ Washington and 2 seconds to Dallas for Seth Curry, Grant Williams, and a 2027 first. This was a great move for the Hornets. They are an awfully run franchise, but this is definitely a step in the right direction. The 2027 pick is only a top 2 protected, and it's after Luka's player option. Seth Curry is a great vet and he's still a knockdown 3-point shooter, and Grant Williams is just a less athletic PJ Tucker with a better jump shot. I think this is an upgrade for the Hornets, so this is definitely an A, first in a very long time. For the Mavs, this is an A as well. Both sides won. They won an athletic 4 who can play both ends of the floor, and that's PJ Washington. Plus, you have to respect him from 3. It's going to be a great fit. The Toronto Raptors are all in on the Scotty Barnes rebuild. They just traded Dennis Schroeder and Thaddeus Young to the Nets for Spencer Dinwiddie, who they're probably going to be waiving. So they'll be freeing up around $40 million in cap space. So a big move is definitely coming. So this is going to be an A+ for the Raptors. As for the Nets, this is an F. I just don't understand the goal here. This team is just collecting role players like they're infinity stones. Dennis is still one of the better backup point guards in the league, but he's not going to be a needle mover for a competitive team. And you received no picks from this trade. I do not like this for the Nets. The next notable trade was the Daniel Gafford move. Dallas received Gafford. In exchange, they sent Washington Rashawn Holmes and a 2024 first-round pick. The Mavericks needed some more center depth, especially with Derek Lively's injury. He's a decent player, but a first-round pick seems a little like an overpay, so I'll give this trade a B. As for the Wizards, however, this is definitely getting an A. Getting a pick without having to give up much is always a win. Next, the Knicks look like they're gearing up for a title run. They received Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks from Detroit in exchange for Ryan Arcidiacono, Malachi Flynn, Evan Fournier, Quentin Grimes, and a 2028 second round pick and a 2029 second round pick. This is an A++++ move for the Knicks. Flynn was never going to be an integral piece, and Fournier has been needed to be traded. Burks and Bogdan are elite pickups. They're both great 3-point shooters. They're both shooting above 40% from 3, and this move still keeps the Knicks way below the luxury tax. And for the Pistons, I like this trade too. I don't know how much PT Malachi Flynn will get, but Quentin Grimes is definitely a player with some potential that Detroit can develop, and he fits in the same timeline as Cade, Ivy, and Durant. Fournier has a team option too, and I'm sure Detroit is going to deny that, so that frees up even more salary. So this is an A. The next trade, Raptors received Ochai Agbaji and Kelly Olynyk, and the Utah Jazz received Kira Lewis, Otto Porter Jr., and a 2024 first. For the Raptors, this kind of makes sense. You take a chance on a young guy who's shown flashes with Agbaji, and Kelly Olynyk is having by far maybe one of his best seasons. He's added a passing back to his game, a lot more dribble handoffs, and he's shooting 42% from 3 with solid defense. The goal of this trade isn't to contend, but to be just good enough to hope that the 2024 top 6 pick they traded previously to San Antonio will convey. So this trade gets a B. For the Jazz side of things though, this is an F. Danny Ainge has always been a mastermind in the front office, so maybe I'll see things differently looking back from the future, but trading Agbaji, who is only in his second year, was probably one of the very few pieces they had that were actually worth something. For a first round pick that's probably going to be super late, and trading away Kelly Olynyk in that deal, I know he's a free agent at the end of the season, but I would have liked to see this trade only contain one or the other, Kelly Olynyk or Agbaji. And then probably the biggest move of this trade deadline is definitely Gordon Hayward. He's been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder. In return, the Hornets received Davis Bertans, Trey Mann, Micic, and some draft compensation. This is a great deal for the Hornets. Hayward needed to be moved or bought out. He is injury prone and aging. Who knows how much he has left in the tank? And getting Trey Mann back is a big win. Without LaMelo, you get to take a chance on a guy who's a former 18th pick and see what he can do with some steady minutes. He's only played about 13 games for the Thunder this season, but his numbers have improved in that limited sample size. He's shooting about 50% from the field and 42% from 3, so I love this move. This is definitely an A. For the Thunder, this is a good move on paper, but I just have zero faith in Gordon Hayward at this point in his career. He hasn't played since December because he's nursing yet another injury, and being 33 years old, like I said before, I don't know how much he has left to give to the game of basketball. He's currently averaging 14 points, but he hasn't played over 50 games since 2019. And we're supposed to expect him to come back from this injury and be the same player or better next season? I just don't buy that, but maybe he'll prove me wrong. I'd love to see this Thunder team win. But for me right now, until I see more, this is an F.